What is the normal college timing for St. John's?
Sir, for second year data science, 10 to 3:30. But we have tell to teachers that today is our internship lecture, so teacher said you can go for home. And tell me when is your another session, then I will arrange that.
Who's the Samson, Mr. Samson? Please join with your original name. Please switch on your cameras. Samson, please join with your original name. Shall we start? Okay, so in session 2, we had started with data sources, and we had just done master data tables characteristics made up of core business entity stability, uniqueness, integration. Then we came on to the emerging technologies like cloud computing, machine learning, big data, ecosystem of data analytics made up of data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, data business analysts, and business intelligence analysts. Then we had the key aspects of data analytics like process, goals, techniques, scope, importance. And then we went on to do the different types of data analytics like descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. So that was what we had completed in the last session, but we really did not touch upon data sources. So in today's session, we are again going to continue with the sources of data, and we will be going into the technical part of it. And as we have touched upon in our previous discussion, data sources, they have always been as dynamic and as diverse as they are today. So we'll look at some of the common sources of data, like relational databases, flat files, XML data sets, APIs, web services, web scraping, data streams, and feeds. Okay, so let us go through some of these things. We may not be able to do everything and we may not be required to do everything, but let us see. In data analytics, when we are talking about data, we have to know the sources of data. So I'll start with something like relational database. Okay, relational databases. And then we'll go on to do something like flat files. I suppose you know what is flat files. Okay, let us start with something like a relational database. Anybody can tell me as to what is a relational database or anything related to that? Any idea? Or you can give me some example. No? Okay. Many organizations, many in the sense, most of the organizations have internal applications to support them in managing their day-to-day business activities, operational activities, customer transactions, HR activities, uh, supplier transactions, purchasing goods from suppliers. So all these are making use of relational databases. For example, SQL, that is SQL, SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, IBM database to store data in a structured way. Data stored in databases and data warehouses. We have discussed data warehouses in the last session. Okay. So data stored in databases and data warehouses can be used as a source for analysis. For example, data from retail transactions can be used to analyze sales in different regions, in different geographical locations, in different regions. And data from a customer relationship management system can be used for making sales projections. For example, if in a particular area, in a particular location, we have got a sales of, let us say, $100,000 in this month, then what can be the projected sales for the next month in that particular region? So to get the data from that customer relationship management system and use it, so those type of transactions or activities can be done with the help of relational databases. Then that is internal to the organization. Now, external to the organization, there may be some publicly and privately available data sets. For example, government organizations which will be releasing demographic and economic data sets on an ongoing basis. Government organizations giving you the weather conditions of different regions or different locations in your state, in your city, in your country. So then there are companies that sell specific data. For example, the point of sale data or financial data, or as I told you, weather data, which businesses can use to define strategy, predict the demand. For example, weather data is going to be useful for farmers. Okay, so also at the same time, the pattern of the consumer consumption, if the government is having data of the consumer consumption in a particular locality or area, they can share that with the retailers, and then on the basis of that, decisions can be taken. Okay, marketing promotions can be done. So such data sets are typically made available as normally spreadsheets or XML documents, or you can say flat files. Okay, so that is your first set, that is relational databases. We have spoken about flat files just now. So what is the flat files? Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of flat file? Very simple. Anyone? What do you understand by flat files? Have you heard about flat files? Yes, no? Have you heard the term flat files? If yes, then you say yes. If no, then you say no.
They're to store single dimensional and double dimensional something columns and rows.
Yeah. So why do we call it as flat file? Can you tell? What is the reason? Why do we call it as flat file? कुछ तो reason होगा ना that we are calling this type of file as a flat file. Files, the flat files actually store data in plain text format with one record or row per line, and each value is separated by what we call as delimiters, okay, such as commas, semicolons, tabs. So data in a flat file maps to a single table, okay. That is why I said it is one record or row per line, and it is coming in one single line, and they are separated by commas, or they are separated by colons, semicolons, tabs, and so on. One of the most common flat file format. Can you tell me what is the most common flat file format? No idea. What are you looking at? On your screen, what are you looking at? What do you see on the screen?
Excel.
Excel. And what is the extension of that? Like if you have a PDF, it is dot PDF, right? So Excel का extension क्या होगा? Dot. बोलो Excel फाइल कैसे होता है? उसका extension last part क्या होता है? Dot what? If it is a Word document, it is dot doc. You'll see. If it is an Excel file, then what? Come on, students. Data analytics पढ़ रहे हो. Excel का extension मालूम नहीं.
सर एक्सेल एक्सेस होता है
It is
एक्सेल एक्सेस
Excel assets. Now, that is one format. What is another format of that? It is dot CSV. Have you seen? Dot
कॉमा
CSV.
सेपरेटेड वेरिएबल्स
So it is nothing but an example of a flat file in which the values are separated by commas. Okay. So spreadsheet files, your Excel files, so spreadsheet files are the special type of flat files that also organize the data in a tabular format with rows and columns. But a spreadsheet can contain multiple worksheets. So you have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. I have put that in my Excel as the dates I have put. Okay. So you can see my Excel format in the format where the name of the sheet is not given as sheet 1, sheet 2, and sheet 3. What is it given as? Can you see what this is given as? कैसे दिया है? See here at the bottom, what can you see? It is not given as sheet 1, sheet 2, and sheet 3. It is, I have changed that. I have renamed that as the date I have put over here, the date on which the lectures were taken. So in the spreadsheet that we are having now, we are having number of spreadsheets, multiple worksheets, and each worksheet can map to a different table. So we can have different tables which are formed on different worksheets, right? Although data in the spreadsheets is in the plain text format, the files can be stored in custom formats, and they include additional information such as formatting, formulas, etc. For example, in Excel, we can do formulas, right? We can do formatting. So you can just, if you check your Excel sheet, you'll have here something called as conditional formatting, right? You'll have something like a conditional formatting here. You can see this. So formatting is there, right? So all these things are possible. So in the case of Microsoft Excel, which stores data in .xlx1 or XLSX format, it is the most common form of spreadsheet. Okay, so this is one type of a flat file, right? The next one that we can talk about is XML files. Next one is XML files. What are these XML files? These XML files contain data values which are identified or marked up using tags. While data in the flat files is absolutely flat in the sense that you have one row or one set of data. Here, and it connects to a particular single table. XML files can support more complex data structures such as hierarchy of data structures. For example, when you are doing online surveys, bank statements, and other unstructured data sets, okay, you will be having the XML files. Many data providers and websites also provide APIs, that is application program interfaces and web services, which multiple users or applications can interact with and obtain data for processing or analysis purpose, right? So we can have the XML files also. APIs and web services typically listen for incoming requests, which can be in the form of web request from the users of those applications, okay, or network requests from applications, and they return the data in plain text or XML or HTML or JSON or media files. So let's look at some of the popular examples of APIs being used as a data source for data analytics. If you look at the use of Twitter and Facebook APIs to source data from tweets and posts for performing tasks such as, what is the opinion of the customers or what is the sentiment of the public, the sentiment analysis, opening your opinion of the customers, which is to summarize the amount of appreciation or the amount of criticism on a given particular topic or on the policies of government or on a particular product or on a particular service or customer satisfaction in general. Okay, so you will find these particular things on Twitter and Facebook, right? Stock market APIs are also there, which are used for pulling data such as share prices, commodity prices. Then if you go to the BSE and NSE websites, you'll find that company data is given. And in that company data, they give you data like earnings per share, historical prices for trading and analysis purpose. Then data lookup and validation APIs, which can be very useful for data analysts for cleaning and preparing the data, as well as for correlating data, for example, to check which city or which particular state or a postal or a zip code belongs to, right? So APIs are also used for pulling data from the database source within as well as external for the organization, right? Any doubt with this? Any difficulty with this? Okay, next we go to web scraping. I suppose you can see my Excel. Is everybody
Yes,
able
sir.
to see my Excel?
Yes, sir, visible.
Yeah, fine. So web scraping is actually what? Web scraping is actually used to extract, why it is called scraping. We scrape data, we extract relevant data from unstructured sources. Okay. Also, it is known in some books, you will find that it is not called as web scraping, it is called as screen scraping. Okay. Screen scraping or web harvesting or web data extraction. So these are the different terms used. Okay. So web scraping makes it possible to download certain specific relevant data from the web pages based on defined parameters. So web scrapers can, among other things, extract text, contact information, images, videos, product items, and much more, which are available from a particular website. Okay, so some popular uses of web scraping I can tell you include collecting product details from retailers, manufacturers, like what is the quantity sold in the last month, what is the price at which the products were sold. Then you can go to e-commerce websites to provide price comparisons between two retailers, sales prices, then generating sales lead through public data sources, extracting data from posts and authors on various forums and communities, collecting data on training and testing of data sets for the purpose of machine learning models. Okay, so some of the popular web scraping tools, can you tell me what are, have you heard about any web scraping tools which are there? Anything, anyone? You have something called as Beautiful Soup. You have pandas, you have scraping, you have selenium, right? So these are some of the popular web scraping tools. You can make a note of this. Beautiful Soup is one of them. SOUP. जैसे मंचा soup होता है ना वैसे. Beautiful Soup. Then Scrapy. SCRAPY. Pandas. And Selenium. SELENIUM. Are you making note of all these things? Otherwise, you will be listening from one ear, comes out from the other ear. At the end of this, I will be giving you a small test. You have to clear that test. Certificate chahiye, so you have to clear that test. If you want me to repeat anything, you can just tell me. Done? Okay. So let us come to the next one. That is, I've written over there, data streams. So data streams, they are another widely popularly used source for aggregating constant streams of data flowing from sources such as instruments, IoT devices, and applications. If I'm not mistaken, I had mentioned something about IoT in your very first offline lecture. IoT devices and applications. Does anybody remember what did I mention in that lecture? An example of IoT devices. Do you remember? Anyone remembers what we had mentioned, what I had mentioned in the class? Yes, guys.
Healthcare.
Healthcare. IoT device, healthcare example. No, healthcare is not an example.
No, sir, you mentioned that you will build something with Arduino and other things. So those IoT devices you were mentioning like toll tech system and other small projects.
Internet of Things, IoT device. I told you example. I had given you a very simple example. Classroom में जो CCTV camera लगा है, that is an IoT device. Right? I was there. You were there in the classroom, now. So in the classroom, I showed you that IoT devices example. क्या है? It is a CCTV camera that is there in the classroom. That is an IoT device. Okay. So IoT devices. These are examples of data streams that we can get. So they are widely used for aggregating constant streams of data. That means if you're having a CCTV camera somewhere and you want to see what is happening in your absence, let us say you have put a CCTV camera at home and you are getting the feed on your mobile, right? So at any point of time, whenever you want, you can just open and get a constant stream of data flowing into from the CCTV camera. Likewise, GPS data from cars, computer programs, websites, social media posts. Okay, this data is generally CCTV camera का footage देखा है क्या कभी? Have you seen the CCTV camera का footage?
Yes, date and time are included.
Absolutely right. Date and time comes over there. So that means it comes with the timestamp. We call it as timestamp. So the data is generally having the date and time. And also it is geotagged. Have you noticed that also? Geotag hota hai for geographical identification. So some of the, now, for example, the CCTV cameras which are put on the roads, outside shops, outside banks, they have the geotag also. So that is what geographical identification. So some of the data streams and the ways in which they can be leveraged include something like the stock market tickers for financial trading, retail transaction streams which are there for predicting demand and supply chain management, then surveillance, CCTV cameras, video feeds, social media feeds for sentiment analysis, sensor data feeds. That means from the pattern in which a particular customer is buying goods, let us say from a site like Amazon or Flipkart, the manner in which you are buying the goods or services from there. So from that, they can, pick up key what is your likes and dislikes. For monitoring industrial or farming machinery, web click feeds for monitoring web performance and improving the design, real-time flight events for rebooking and rescheduling the flights. So all this is nothing but example of data streams, right? So this is, these are some things which you really need to understand. And these are actually day-to-day applications that you see around you also. So only thing is that we are using some technical terms for this, but they are commonly seen. Okay. So some of the popular applications, if you want to go to name those applications, one which I can remember now is Apache Kafka, Apache Spark Streaming, and Apache Storm. So these are actually applications which are used to process the data streams. Okay, applications. Fine. So like this, let us see one more of this type now, and we'll call it as RSS. It is not having anything to do with the organization RSS. It is full form is really simple syndication. Okay, really simple syndication. So RSS means really simple syndication feeds. They are another popular data source. So when we are talking about data source, these are the technical things. So yeah, in the last session, we were just doing the background. We were just doing the digging of the environment, which is there, the data ecosystem and so on. So today we are actually doing the data sources. So RSS or really simple syndication feeds are another popular data source. These are typically used for capturing updated data from online forums, news sites, that is, where you can, let us say that Times Now has got a website which is showing all the news of this Mint news is there. If you have gone for, financial newspapers or something like that. So Mint news is there. So where data is refreshed on an ongoing basis. So using a feed reader, which is an interface that converts the RSS text files into a stream of updated data. So that you can also see on your NSE and BSE websites. So there is a scrolling, number of the market price of the shares, which is scrolling on a second to second, nanosecond basis, right? So these are some of the basic data sources, right? So the crux of the subject, that is data sources, we have done today. And let us now move on to something a little bit more interesting about. And that is what we are also going to do a little bit of it in our classes here. And that is languages which are required for data professionals. So let us write that. Languages for data professionals. So you will get an idea as to what you have to do, which languages you have to learn to become a specialist data analyst, right? So obviously the first one that is going to come, what is the first one that is going to come?
Python and Excel.
No, Excel is not a language.
Python.
SQL.
Yes, Python is a language, but before that also you have to learn something.
Mathematics.
SQL, SQL, right? You have to learn SQL. What is SQL ka full form?
Structured
Structured query language.
Structured query language.
Correct. So when we teach the students, what are some of the languages which are relevant for them, because all languages need not be studied by you. So what are the languages which are relevant for you as data professionals? Then these can be categorized into, you can say, three categories or three types of languages. Can you tell me the three types of languages?
R language, Python, and SQL.
All of them belong to one particular, in fact, the R and Python belong to one category of languages. You have named the languages. I don't want you to name the languages. I want you to tell me the three categories of languages.
Sir, Excel and data
Not
visualization.
a language. Who said Excel is a language? Excel is not a language. Three categories of languages. No idea?
Power BI, शायद.
I am enjoying it. Power BI? Bolo.
Sir, JavaScript, I think so.
I feel like pulling my hair out. Bolo. First is query language. Second is programming language. Third is shell scripting language. Excel बोला, Power BI बोला, क्या बोला? Okay, so three categories of languages: query languages, programming languages, and shell scripting languages. Query languages are designed for accessing query, or asking a query, accessing and manipulating data in a database. So what is the purpose of query language? Query languages are required for getting access to, for manipulating data in a database. Example of that is SQL, that is SQL. Fine. What is a programming language? Programming languages are designed for developing applications and controlling application behavior. What are programming languages? Programming languages are designed for developing applications and controlling application behavior. So, what should the application be for? So, what are the programming languages that we make use of here? You said JavaScript, so that is over here. Python, R, these are all programming languages. Shell and scripting languages. Example of this, is Unix or Linux shell, PowerShell. These are examples of ideal, repetitive, and time-consuming operational tasks to be performed with the help of these particular languages. Okay, so shell and scripting languages like Unix, Linux shell, PowerShell are examples of languages which are ideal for repetitive and time-consuming operational tasks. Okay, so three categories of languages you have learned. The three categories are query languages, programming languages, and shell scripting languages. Okay. Let us take each one of them in a little bit more detail. SQL, structured query language, is a querying language which is designed for, as I told you, accessing and manipulating information, getting information out, extracting information from relational databases. So by using SQL, we can write a set of instructions to perform operations such as inserting values, updating values, deleting records in a database, or create new databases, tables, views, or write stored procedures. Like, for example, you can write a set of instructions and recall them for later use. Okay, so you can prepare tables, you can write a set of instructions and recall them for a later purpose. So what are structured query languages? It's a query language designed for the two most important words, accessing and manipulating information. Okay, mostly from relational databases. So what are the operations that it can perform? It can perform operations like insertion, update, updation, deletion of records in a database, or create new databases, create new tables, create new views, and store the instructions to be recalled at a later date. Okay, so what are the advantages that you can get from this? SQL is portable and can be used independent of the platform. So whichever platform you are using, you can make use of SQL over there. It can be used for querying data in a large or a wide variety of databases and data repositories, data warehouses. Although each particular customer or vendor may have some variations in their data repositories, but it can be utilized for querying data in such a situation. Then the syntax is very simple because it is similar to the English language. There is no technical language or technical syntax that is going to be made use of over here. And from there comes the next advantage, that this will allow the developers to write programs with less number of lines than some of the other languages that we are using, and use keywords such as select, insert, update, delete, etc. Okay, so these are some of the advantages of SQL. Fine. Now I will be asking you questions, and each one of you will be having to write the answers individually. For example, I can ask you the advantages that we have discussed about SQL in class. So I am giving you certain specific advantages, and I want to see whether you are noting down these particular points, so that when I ask you, you give me exactly from your notebook कि क्या क्या हम लोगों ने क्लास में डिस्कस किया है. You cannot use ChatGPT because I have not given you ChatGPT ka answer. So remember that when I ask you a question, I will ask you the question that in the class, what particular example have I given? What particular advantages I have given? So I have given you advantages like portable hai, can be used on independent platforms, can be used in a variety of databases and data repositories in spite of the customers or the vendors having variations in their data. Simple to use because similar to English language, syntax is therefore simple. Less number of lines to use, make use of basic keywords like select, insert, delete, update, and so on. Retrieve large amounts of data quickly and efficiently. These are some of the advantages that we have discussed in the class over here. I have not discussed any other advantages than this. The purpose of having the your lectures over here for internship is to ensure that you retain what is taught to you and you take down the points that we discuss in the class, and it's not just a session where you log in and you do some other one. You have to be attentive. So there are two advantages here. One is that whenever I ask you a question, you should be able to give me the exact answer or the exact points that we have discussed in the class. Okay. So for that, you have to be present in the class. Secondly, you have to be physically and mentally present in the class. You have to be taking down the notes, making the notes as and when I discuss the points. Okay. So that is the first one, SQL, or what we call as SQL. Okay, let us come to the second one. Second one, as you said, Python. Fine. Python. Whenever I say the word Python, the first term that comes to my mind is it's an open source programming language. Open source. Second word that comes to my mind, or second term that comes to my mind, it's a high level programming language. In the very first lecture, we had done high level language, low level language. You remember? So, two things that should come to your mind whenever I say Python. Open source, high level programming language. Okay. Its syntax is as simple as the English language. Like SQL, fewer lines of code are required as compared to other older languages. One of the easiest languages to learn and has a large developer community. It focuses on simplicity, readability. Ideal tool for beginning programmers. Why does every programmer start with Python? Doesn't start with Java. It starts with Python. The reason being that it's the most ideal tool for beginning programmers. Can perform great calculations, computational tasks with vast amounts of data, which otherwise may be time consuming, difficult. Python has also libraries, widely used libraries like NumPy and Pandas, which makes the task very easy. It has inbuilt functions for almost all the frequently used concepts like calculate, help. Okay. So words like this, they are all inbuilt functions. Input, print. So these are all input functions, right? So Python supports multiple programming paradigms such as object-oriented, imperative, functional, and procedural, making it suitable for a wide variety of use cases. Okay, so let us look at some of the reasons that make Python one of the fastest growing programming languages. Or in other words, what are the advantages of Python? First, it is very easy to learn Python language because it's similar to English language and you have to write very few codes to perform large or big size, computational tasks. Second, it is an open source. Open source का मतलब क्या है? It is free and it uses a community-based model for development purpose. Third advantage, you can run Python either on Windows or on Linux, and it can be ported to multiple platforms. So it is not restricted to Windows only or Linux only. You can run it on both of them. Widespread community support with plenty of analytics libraries available. Okay, so simple to learn, open source, can run on Windows as well as Linux platforms, widespread community support, and has got open source libraries for data manipulation, data visualization, statistics, and mathematics. Okay. The next thing I wanted to know about Python is the libraries and the functionalities. Libraries, pandas, as I've told you, function for data cleaning and analytics. Second library, NumPy and SciPy for statistical analysis. Pandas for data cleaning and analysis purpose. NumPy and SciPy for statistical analysis. Beautiful Soup and Scrapy for web scraping. Just now we have done scraping, web scraping. Beautiful Soup and Scrapy for web scraping. Matplotlib and Seaborn for visually representing data in the form of bar graphs, histograms, pie charts. तो उसके लिए Matplotlib, Seaborn. Remember this because we are going to make use of, we are going to do Python, the basics of Python. So you will require all these things. Okay. And then there is one called as OpenC for image processing. OpenC for image processing. So the array of libraries and functionalities, have you taken it down? Khushi, have you taken it down?
Yes, sir.
Tell me. पहले से end तक बोल. First one क्या है? क्या लिखा है?
Sir, first one is structure query language. Query language means accessing.
Libraries में first क्या लिखा है बोलो? अभी जो मैंने बोला था 5-6 लाइब्रेरी बोला था.
NumPy, Pandas, Metabolic, and Seaborn.
लास्ट में बोला था लाइब्रेरीज एंड फंक्शनैलिटीज बोला था. एक एक लाइब्रेरी का एक एक फंक्शनैलिटीज बोला था. Pandas is used for what purpose?
For data cleaning.
Second one, which is the second one I told you?
NumPy.
NumPy and SciPy. What is
SciPy.
for?
For statistical purpose.
Correct. What is the spelling of SciPy you have written?
SY. So I don't know spelling, so I have written SYPRY.
SCIPY. Sky.
SCI.
Science का sky. SCIPY.
TY.
Yeah, PY.
Okay.
Okay. Third one क्या लिखा है?
So metabolic something you have written and Seaborn.
Third one.
Metabolic, sir, कुछ तो भी बोला था आपने वही. For bar graphs and charts.
Third one बोलो.
Sir, Seaborn.
Beautiful Soup and Scrapy.
Beautiful.
What is that used for? Scrapy. Scrapy is used for what? Scraping, web scraping. करेक्ट. अच्छा, नेक्स्ट वन क्या बोला था? What is the next one? Yes, Rihan.
OpenCV, sir, for image processing and all.
Next one is Matplotlib and
वो तो
C1.
पहले हुआ था ना।
हाँ.
वो तो NumPy के बाद हुआ था, मैटप्लॉटलिब और C1, देन फिर वर्ड के बाद।
में तो सेकंड आ गया. थर्ड मैंने बोला था ब्यूटीफुल सूप एंड स्क्रेपी.
राइट सर।
फोर्थ बोला था Matplotlib and C1.
Oh.
That is for what purpose?
For bar graph and charts.
Correct. And the last one was
OpenSea for image something you have told.
OpenSea का spelling क्या है?
सर स्पेलिंग तो मैंने नहीं लिखा, बस याद है.
लिखो फिर. OpenSea, OPENCY. OPENCY.
सर मैंने ओपन लिखा था.
सर वो OpenCV है ना, कंप्यूटर विजन, OpenCV.
You're asking something, Rihan?
Yeah, sir. I was asking that it is OpenCV, na, not OpenCY. OpenCV for computer vision.
Yeah. OpenCY is used for image processing. That is
Okay.
getting the images from the data.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Fine. ये हो गया Python. Now let us come to the next programming language, that is again R. R is again like Python, an open source programming language and environment for data analysis, data visualization, machine learning, and statistics. So R, like Python, is an open source programming language and environment for performing data analysis, data visualization, machine learning, and statistics. So this is basically used for, basically in the sense it is more used for developing statistical software, performing data analytics purpose, and it is very well known for its ability to create some compelling visualizations, giving it an edge over some of the other languages in this space. So it is widely used for statistical purpose and data visualization. Okay. Some of the key benefits of R, as I told you, like Python, it will be the first one. It is an open source platform. It can combine with any other programming language. So you can use R in combination with Python. It is highly extensible. Extensible means that developers can continue to add any number of functionalities by defining new functions. So it can be extended. Extensible means extended in the sense that developers can continuously add functionalities by defining new functions. Then it helps you to analyze and handle structured as well as unstructured data. Okay, so that is about R. Next, we come to Java. Java is developed by किसने Java develop किया है? Any idea?
कुछ तो सन कंपनी की सर, सन मिल्स का
Sun Microsystems, yes. Sun Microsystems. Okay. So Java is basically an object-oriented, class-based, platform-independent, you can say, programming language originally developed by Sun Microsystems. Okay. So you have to remember this. It is among the one of the top ranking programming languages which are used today, used in a number of processes all through data analytics, even for cleaning data, importing data, exporting data, statistical analysis, data visualization for all practical purposes. Java can be used. Okay. In fact, it is one of the more popular frameworks and tools which are used for big data. Okay. And for big data, normally it is written in Java only. And tools which are used for big data are typically written in Java. For example, Hadoop is there, Hive is there, Spark is there. Okay. So it is perfectly suited for speed critical projects. We can mention this as one of the points. Java is perfectly suitable for speed critical projects. That means where the performance of your project is at a high speed, very fast. So we have done SQL, we have done Python, we have done R, we have done Java. Next is Unix or Linux shell. Basically, it is a series of Unix commands which are written in a plain text file to accomplish a particular specific task given to us. Writing a shell script is fast and very easy, and normally it is most useful for tasks which are repetitive in nature, okay, which may be time consuming to execute by writing or typing one line at a time. So repetitive tasks are normally done with the help of this particular language. Typical operations performed by the shell scripts are something like file manipulation, which is done on a repetitive basis, program execution, system administration tasks, for example, disk backups, evaluating the system logs, installation scripts for complex programs, executing routine backups, running batches. These are the things that are done with the help of shell script. The next one is PowerShell. The next one is PowerShell. PowerShell is basically a cross-platform automation tool. Cross-platform automation tool, which is, you can say that which was created by Microsoft. Okay. Developed by Microsoft. That is optimized for working with structured data formats only. Only structured data formats such as CSV, XML, JSON, and Office applications. So PowerShell what you have to remember, cross-platform automation tool, which was developed by Microsoft, optimized for working with structured data formats like CSV, XML, JSON. Basically, PowerShell is object-based, which makes it possible to filter data, sort the data, measure the data, group the data, compare the data. Okay. So what does PowerShell help us to do? PowerShell helps us to filter data, sort data, measure data, group the data, compare the data. Okay. And it is also a good tool for data mining, creating charts, dashboards, as well as interactive reports.
Sir, please repeat now. Filter data, then
See, PowerShell, as I said, the important words to be remembered by cross-platform automation tool developed by Microsoft, which works in the best possible way for structured data formats like CSV, XML, JSON, and Office applications. What are the main functions that can be performed with this? Filtering of data, sorting of data, measuring data, grouping of data, comparison of data. Also a useful tool for creating charts, dashboards, and interactive reports.
we're done.
Yes, guys, anything, any difficulty that you have up till here, anything that you have not understood?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Everything is clear?
Yes.
So these are, some things which are technical, slightly technical in nature. I'm not going into the depth of anything. It's just the basics of, I'm just doing touch and go for all these things because I can go into the depth of these things, but it is of no use as of now because it's an internship lecture that we are doing. So internship lecture में क्या है कि you have to know the basics of everything, basic knowledge होना चाहिए, so that you can develop on that. So in whichever field you are interested in, that can be taken up. Like for example, if you want to do more of Python and R, then you can go for studying Python and R specifically. If you want to do some machine language, then machine language can be done. So it depends upon all. Internship का basic objective ये है कि we give you the basic overall view of the entire thing. In fact, even Python language, we are going to take up small case studies and work out on how to write the program for each one of them. So that is going to be our task. So in that case, we just have to know कि उसका application क्या है, what is the use, what is the application, and simple basic applications we should be able to do. That is the basic objective of internship. As I told you, I have not forgotten. I have to take up with you Power Query for data cleaning, which I'm going to do on Thursday. Thursday ka lecture mein we will be doing data cleaning with Power Query. So get used to all these things and ensure that you are having Excel new version on your laptop, because Power Query requires that you have the latest version of Excel. नहीं तो फिर problem हो जाएगा. Power Query you should be able to get on Excel. So just check your Excel whether Power Query is there or not, right? Any questions to ask? Okay, what are data architectures? We did this concept in the very first lecture. Data architectures, क्या होता है? Any idea? When I talk about data architecture, what does it? Okay, वो छोड़ो. Interface क्या होता है? Tell me, what is an interface?
UI, so basically जो हमारे को दिख रहा है, whatever we are able to see.
You are not clear. It's not audible properly.
So basically, interface is like a UI, which you are seeing on your screen and using that. For example, if you use like Google Web, so you see there is a
To a layman, how will you explain what is a interface? Even when you're saying UI, user interface, how will you explain it to a non-technical person? मतलब एक इंसान को जो टेक्निकल लैंग्वेज नहीं समझता है, इंटरफेस का मतलब नहीं जानता है. So how will you
Yes, sir.
explain that?
So basically, I will tell him that so here is your mobile phone, and whatever you seeing on your screen is the interface of your phone application. And whenever you click on suppose some particular application like WhatsApp and another thing, when you open the app and you will tell, I will tell them like you seeing this lines and everything. These are your interface. And whenever you click on something, that interface will lead you to another interface, which is your like suppose I have opened a WhatsApp and I am showing in someone's chat. Then I'll open someone's chat first. Like there's a type button below there, so I will explain what are those things.
अच्छा, अभी देखो ये मेरा एक्सेल का इंटरफेस है, राइट?
Right.
Columns है, rows है, this particular ribbon is there, data उसमें tabs are there at the top. So now if I have to explain interface to a layman, तो इसको क्या definition?
So first of all, sir, I will tell him like this is the small boxes you are seeing. Those are the cells where you have to type things like A, B, C, D, and all. And you seeing above line cells like A, B, C, D, N, E, F, G. Those are the columns above data cells. And then on the extreme left hand side, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
इतना सब नहीं चाहिए, इतना सब नहीं चाहिए. एक ही लाइन में,
Yes, sir.
simple language.
Like this is the ribbon and other thing like that way.
It's a representation of data.
Okay. It is, I would say that interface is a shared boundary or a point of interaction where two separate entities or two separate systems, they meet to exchange information. Simple language. Interface, user interface की बात कर रहे हैं ना हम लोग. So interface is like a shared boundary. It is within the boundaries of the screen. It's a point of interaction where two separate systems, me and my computer system, meet for exchanging information. Right? That is interface. Okay. What is a data architecture? first lecture में किया. We had mentioned something about data architectures.
Yes, sir. Like where we store, collect, and then we merge and integrate the data, like infrastructure of data, blueprint of data. We were studied about like data sources, then data storage. Then you mentioned like data sources in IoT devices. Then CCTV example came. Then we have also learned about data ingestions, where we like extract data, transform data, and also load the data into our system. So data ingestion, data sources, then data storage, like data warehouses, data lakes, फिर RDBMS, relational database management systems, then non-RDBM BMS, etc.
So data modeling.
Data modeling, yes. Or data modeling is not a part of data architecture. Data architecture. Anyone else can explain?
Sir, data mart and data warehouses.
That is data repositories.
Okay.
Data mart, data warehouses are data repositories.
Data sorting and structuring.
No. Sania, can you explain? Sania, are you there? Data architecture क्या है? Any idea? What is data architecture?
So basic fundamental that how to collect and store
Foundation
information
कैसे
and
store होगा,
data.
collect होगा.
Data, हाँ, basic fundamental what? Basic fundamental?
For collecting, storing and transferring
Structure और rules
data.
कैसे होगा.
Okay.
पूरे प्रोसेस को दिखाना है.
Process of
स्ट्रक्चर
सर वो बिजनेस गोल वाला कोई तो भी हमने एग्जांपल देखा था ना शायद से वो.
बराबर. Tell me. क्या एग्जांपल दिया था?
सर आपने बोला था अगर कोई भी कंपनी को हमें आगे लेके जाना है, मतलब हमें पता नहीं प्रॉब्लम क्या है पहले तो हम मतलब कहाँ से स्टार्ट करेंगे. पहला हमें हमारा वर्क क्या रहेगा, पहले हमें कौन सा रिलेटेड डेटा देखना है. आगे जाके हमें कंपनी को अगर टॉप ग्रो ज्यादा कराना है कंपनी को, तो पहले के सब हमें चेक करने रिकॉर्ड्स क्या है पहले के, ये सब शायद हो सकता है.
Okay. So basically, let us come back to this data architecture. It is very important concept because when you start with data analytics, you should know what is a data architecture. Architecture मतलब it is like architect क्या करता है? Interior designing में architect जो है वो क्या करता है? वो पहले blueprint बनाता है, right? Suppose an architect is going to construct a building, or he is going to do the interiors of a flat. तो पहले क्या करता है वो उसका ब्लूप्रिंट बनाता है, मतलब a rough thing. So likewise data architecture is like a blueprint. But what type of blueprint? A blueprint as to how an organization is going to collect data, store data, manage data, utilize data, that is use data. So it is that particular structure or the framework. Data architecture is a framework that defines how an organization is going to collect data, store data, manage data, and utilize its data assets. It's like a master budget that you prepare. Not a master budget, just like a master budget. It's a master plan that gives, that aligns your data system with, as you said, the goals of the business, ensuring that information flows efficiently from the source to the last person, that is the end user who needs it for decision making. So basically, whenever I say ask you what is data structure, data architecture, you have to tell me, sir, it is a framework, or you can tell me it's a blueprint. A framework or a blueprint that defines how an organization is going to collect, store, manage, and utilize its data assets. As simple as that. Okay. So make these things are very important for you to make note of. Similarly, as I have already explained to you, what are the data warehouses? Data warehouses, data lakes, all these things are nothing but data repositories. Okay. So keep a note of all the things that we are doing in the class, because I will be asking you questions at the end of the session. That is at the end of your internship. So your notes will become very important for you. Okay. Chalo, we'll stop here for today. Next lecture is there on Thursday, same time, 3 to 5. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. On Thursday, without fail, your laptop should be there, because we are going to do cleaning of data with the help of not Excel, because I don't want to do it with Excel. I want to do it with Power Query. Okay. So I'll share the Excel, I'll share the data with you, the data sheet with you, and we will make use of Power Query to solve the problem. Right? Sure. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Next file icon.